Hey guys, this is aussietai from A Crypto Current Affair, and this week I was emceeing at the Bitcoin Crypto Sydney meetup, and I spoke to one of the attendees and she was saying to me, I'm not going to touch EOS because it's a scam. So I thought I'd invite the Team GenerEOS guys here today to talk about that concept. So welcome guys, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Tim from Team GenerEOS.
Nathan?
I'm Tom from Team GenerEOS.
And Ty from Team GenerEOS. What do you do in Team GenerEOS, Tim?
So I'm the lead of business strategy. So I kind of work on the direction the Team GenerEOS are going to go down. That's where my focus is.
I take care of the smart contracts and infrastructure. We're working on how our block producing candidacy will actually run on servers, and in the future how we're going to develop smart contracts to help our charitable initiatives.
And I'm helping out with the marketing strategy and making sure that our message gets across to everyone in the EOS community.
Great, and we've got Ralph, who is luckily gone camping for the weekend, and he looks after the infrastructure, and I do the videos and community engagement. So I reckon we're qualified to talk about, is EOS a scam? Who wants to start with that response?
Well, look, at the start when EOS initially ICO'd, there were lots of talks about it being a scam. And I think it was the way that Block 1 structured EOS. So they originally weren't selling tokens to American citizens. The reason for that is there's lots of regulatory issues in America at the moment.
SEC.
Yeah, so they based it in the Cayman Islands. So originally that was like the first kind of step that people thought it was a scam. And then after that, they've kind of like, they distributed the token releases. So they released 1 million tokens every 24 hours.
So another complaint about EOS, or that it was a scam, was that the ICO took a year. What's that all about, guys?
So there's a good reason behind that. The main reason is they didn't want to have a whale come in and just be able to buy up a huge amount of tokens and therefore giving them the biggest percentage, say, of that community. So if they distribute it over a year, then it kind of gives people more access to the tokens as it's more spread out. So initially in the first 5-day period, they released 200 million tokens. And then for the next 350 consecutive 23-hour periods, they released 700 million tokens. And then they kept 100 million tokens for Block 1 to hold on to.
So those 100 million tokens for Block 1, what's that for?
So it's kind of, so Block 1 still want to have like a big say within the community. And the way that those 100 million tokens will be released to Block 1 is throughout a 10-year period. So they're going to actually only give themselves those tokens, in a percentage throughout 10 years. So it kind of keeps Block 1 involved in the community as well. It gives them skin in the game. So they need to be working on this software for the next 10 years at least anyway.
From a technical perspective, do you think it's a scam?
Well, considering that they just launched Dawn version 4.2 a few hours ago, there's a ridiculous amount of development going on. Their GitHub page shows an insane increase in commits. The closer they get to launch, there's some heavy development going on. And there's test nets all across the world constantly updating to the latest code. I mean, even if they stop today, EOS could exist. And it's open source. The community at large could take ownership and keep developing it. Now we know Block 1 has a vested interest to keep developing that, but it's out there, it's in the open. People are using it, people are developing dApps. I even saw someone creating sort of a Pokemon type monster training game on it, running on testnets, today. It's a real thing.
What about you, Tom? What do you think about EOS?
Yeah, no, the reason why I think EOS is a legitimate project is they actually have a venture fund, a VC fund of $1 billion that they're setting aside for EOS VC. So they're going to contribute that back into the growth of the EOS ecosystem for future dApps that are going to be developed on the blockchain.
Okay, so for the viewers at home, what's a dApp?
So a dApp is like the equivalent of like what a website is to the internet, right? So it's a decentralized application that's going to be built on top of blockchain technology, and EOS is that technology that can create it so it's a scalable dApp that can do similar to what current websites do on the internet, right?
But it'll be seamless, so you won't know that it's on the blockchain.
Seamless, so feeless transactions. So unlike Ethereum, where you have to pay gas and you have to pay transaction fees, EOS is proposing feeless transaction. So yeah, you won't even realize that you're on a dApp. It'll just have additional features that modern websites can't actually do.
So not having a transaction fee is going to free up a lot of creativity in dApp design?
That's it. It can be adopted by the mainstream. So another additional feature is that it can be developed. Smart contracts can be developed with C++. So C++ is quite a commonly known language. So developers out there now can adopt C++ and then cater it onto smart contracts, so they can create dApps much more easily and freely compared to Ethereum.
So you've got this big resource of people who know C++ already, so you don't need to learn, say, Solidity for Ethereum.
Exactly. That's the exact thing. So with Ethereum, you need to know that special coding language, which kind of hinders the growth of the platform, whereas C++ is already a common language, so it can be easily brought over onto EOS and then developed on.
So is the token a currency, or what does it do?
So that's the very interesting thing about EOS compared to Bitcoin. At the moment, before the mainnet launches, it actually is what's considered an ERC20 token on the Ethereum network. However, when the mainnet launches, it transfers to a unique token of its own, run on its own network. And it's not really a currency. It's something that is digital real estate on the network. You can use it to buy processing and network bandwidth for smart contracts and dApps. You can use it to purchase RAM so that your dApps can store account information. They can have databases. And it can be used to vote for block producers like ourselves and like any number of geographically located block producers to ensure that the community is supporting the strongest network possible.
Okay, so it sounds like a pretty robust network platform.
Oh, it's definitely well thought out. Dan Larimar, with his experience with his prior projects, it's a completely well thought out self-governing system. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens come June 3rd.
Okay, and June 3rd is the mainnet launch?
Yeah, that's the mainnet launch. So that's the time where the ERC20 tokens actually get converted into the EOS native token.
And the EOS blockchain becomes live?
That's correct, yeah.
So where can people find more information about EOS?
So to find more information about EOS, you can go to eos.io. If you want to find more information about GenerEOS, so we're running as a block producing candidate for EOS, you can go to genereos.io.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, that shed some light on the EOS project. If you'd like to find more, I'll put more information in the description below. But if you have any questions, put a comment and I'm sure one of the guys will answer your question. This is aussietai with Team GenerEOS, and you've been watching A Crypto Current Affair. Click like and subscribe and join me on this Crypto Current Affair. Just because it's double doesn't mean it's a bubble.